Hi, my name is David Nolan. I'm the founder of the Federal Ethics Center, and what I do for a living is protect whistleblowers, federal employees from reprisals for their protected disclosures, which tend to protect Americans and national security rather than injure it. I guess my question is, have you looked into any irregularities regarding the 9/11 crash into the Pentagon? I have a client who was lobbying for the No Fear Act on Capitol Hill, where she and NAACP leader Leroy Warren witnessed a low-flying commercial airliner.
Well, let me answer the question, and I appreciate your need to share your story. I'm going to ask the questions to be brief to honor the press is here and the intense schedule for the mock debate that we have. The architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth focus on the 3 World Trade Center high-rises. We all agree in the 9/11 Truth movement that the need for an investigation at the Pentagon is also paramount. We know what we call for the release of the numerous videos that would clearly show what did or did not hit the Pentagon. So we are united on that front. Thank you very much. Are there any other questions? Would you mind stepping up?
I'm Armand Chaudhry, an architect from Philadelphia. Richard, thank you and to your team that what you do and compiling all this evidence. But it seems it is not having much traction in the government. My question to you, are you willing to take all this evidence that you have compiled to the UN, to the Interpol, to the EU, or the war crime tribunals at The Hague?
All of those alternative venues for justice are being considered. We are not attorneys or adept in these fields. We're technical and building professionals. We have a committee exploring these issues, and I would encourage you to contact us and assist us in that regard. We are starting with Congress because this is our Constitution. It has a path of justice. We need to pursue it. Whether we will be successful or not is a question, but we won't give up on the path that has been laid for us by our forefathers. If that path doesn't work, certainly international venues for justice are on everybody's mind.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Dick Gregory, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. What a wonderful gathering. I see a lot of the original suspects there. But again, thank you. And many of us feel your pain. You know, you're very important because it just can't wash you off like you laying in bed one day and had a dream. I feel the pain here with people who have information, but what you're doing is very needed. It's like I'm going to a brain surgeon to see if you can fix my foot. That's not what you're doing. You're doing one thing, and we appreciate that. And so again, I say thanks to you. And I've been with Brother Wolf and Jeff all night, just waiting to come here. We're going to New York, and there is another level you all can go to while we're waiting on this. And I'm fixing to announce tomorrow that I'll be 80 years old on October the 12th of 2012, and starting tomorrow in New York, I'm going on a 2-year fast where I'm not going to eat no solid food. Somebody asked me, say, you've been fasting 40 years. What do your doctor think? My doctor been dead 30 years. And that. But going on a 2-year fast of nothing but liquids, and just ask folks around the world that tune in every day at 12 o'clock where you are, and just pray and meditate that the truth come out. Now, the CIA can manipulate a whole lot of stuff, but they can't manipulate the Big Dipper and the Milky Way. And there is a universal force that put this whole piece together that can't be manipulated. And so I will tune in and ask people to tune in, and I will also tune in to you all's success. And again, I just say thank you. And if you want information on what we're doing, I'll be back in the back. And you agents that's here, it's going to cost you $30 to get it.
Thank you, Dick. We're honored to have you. And this will be our last question.
Sure. My name is Maria Garcia. I'm with the Mexican News Agency. I wonder if the nanoparticles that you found in the site has any relation with the health problems that occur in the firefighters and other persons who help to the rescue.
There are reports from the medical people that they have found particles of iron in people's lungs. I don't know what percentage of that is the problem that is killing almost 1,000 people after 9/11 or not. There are certainly enough toxic materials, including asbestos and mercury and radioactive substances. So these things need to be investigated. Thank you. The question is about Larry Silverstein, the owner. Larry Silverstein purchased in a 99-year lease the World Trade Center from the Port Authority of New York, and that deal just cleared 6 weeks prior to 9/11. He's implicated in a number of statements that are controversial that we don't explore too much. We look at the technical evidence that is very hard evidence for the explosive demolition of these buildings. At this time, I'd like to invite Dave Schlesinger, ae911truth coordinator for our congressional outreach team. Dave?
Thank you so much. Yes, our team is one of more than a dozen different teams which we invite people to join. The host of our mock debate today is former Senator and presidential candidate Mike Gravel of Alaska. Most people don't know that Mike Gravel became Speaker of the Alaska House of Representatives in only his second term. An early and courageous opponent of America's war in Vietnam, Senator Gravel filibustered the Senate by himself to end the war by stopping the draft. And when Daniel Ellsberg sought a senator to read the Pentagon Papers into the congressional record, it was Senator Gravel alone who had the courage to stand up to the Washington war establishment and make those papers public property. He's the founder of the Democracy Foundation, an organization that seeks a constitutional amendment to allow citizens to enact laws through ballot initiatives when their representatives fail them. As Democratic candidate for president in 2007, he demanded an immediate end to the war in Iraq and an end to the dominance of the military-industrial complex over national policy. As Libertarian candidate for president in 2008, he demanded an end to the cycle of American imperialism and endorsed the New York City 9/11 ballot initiative to create a private citizens commission with subpoena power against even the highest government officials to make a true investigation as to what happened on September 11th, 2001. It's an honor to introduce one of America's true profiles in courage, Senator Mike Gravel.
Great. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. The title of this mock conference is, or debate, if you will, it's not much of a debate, is hard evidence of explosive demolition at the World Trade Center on 9/11. That is quite an indictment when you fully appreciate what hard evidence really means. We're dealing today with this very difficult subject, and we ask why after 9 years, and we're so close to the anniversary, why revisit this subject? Well, there's several good reasons why. One is, it was the occasion for 2 wars. one which is, quote, supposedly ending, and the other which is continuing, which has cost the lives of several million people worldwide. That's one reason. There's another closer to home, and that is what we've done to our civil society with the Patriot Act, with the military tribunals, with the legitimization of torture, where the United States worldwide is now recognized as a country that engages in torture. And this evidence is overwhelming. So if there's any reason why we should look at this again, it's got to be for those reasons. We can't live with that anymore. Now, the whole concept, and that's the part of the mock side, is that there's a body of people that feel that this has been adequately investigated. Well, I got to tell you, that's not exactly accurate, because the investigation was not what we call an investigation. It was to develop a storyline of what happened to be fed to the American people and to receive their acquiescence. When you stop and think, the investigation, which essentially was opposed by the presidential White House at the time, and it was the victims' families who pressed to get this investigation going to begin with. And so they threw at this $600,000 and put together a staff of volunteers. Well, the spokesman for FEMA made the statement that we are not an investigative agency. And of course, in some degrees, they're not. And that's quoted in the New York Times. At the very time that FEMA was doing this work, developing a storyline, truckloads upon truckloads of the debris was being hauled away. And I'm glad that somebody saved the dust so you could go in and make an examination of what they found. The commission report was not tasked as an investigative body. They weren't there to investigate. They were made up of basically politicians and government appointees and very few engineers. The commission publicly stated, senior counsel for the commission publicly stated, and I'm quoting, that the commission was a compromise, fraudulent, or invalid. Thomas Kern and Lee Hamilton, the governor of New Jersey, and Lee Hamilton, a distinguished member of Congress, co-chaired the 9/11 Commission. They said that their report, and they were being very political in this regard, was not to be considered the last word. This is candor. Not to be considered the last word, but just the beginning of the discovery of what happened. In their book, Without Precedent, they wrote that the commission had been set up to fail. Now, these are the two guys that were placed in charge of it. They said they had considered referring top military officers for prosecution for obstructing the investigation. And they were informed, well, you don't have that authority, and so bypass that. Just as a side, our intelligence community was budgeted at the time of 9/11 at $26 billion a year. No person has ever been fired for incompetence, and their budget is now $75 billion a year.